Hey guys, Huck Sports Talk here. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Well guys, today I'm going to rank all 16 SEC teams on how I think they're going to finish this year. This week I'm going to do the SEC. Then a little bit later this week I'm going to do the Big Ten. And then I'll probably do a video comparing the SEC and Big Ten and who I think are the best teams, who's the best conference. But today I want to do the SEC. And so let's just get started here, guys. So my number one team that I think in the SEC is Georgia. And the reason why I think that, I think because their schedule is so manageable this year that they stay away from some of the bigger name teams. But they do play at home against Oklahoma, at Alabama, and at Ole Miss. So those three games will be their toughest games this year. And I really think they're going to take care of Oklahoma and definitely Ole Miss. And I think they could take care of Alabama at Alabama. So honestly, I think there's a good chance of them going 9-0 in the conference this year and being the 1 seed in the SEC title game. So, but yeah, that's why I think that Georgia's my number one team in the SEC. Number two is Texas for me. And, Texas has got a lot of tough games here, though. There's no doubt about it. Not in the SEC, but they play Ohio State this year. And so that's going to be a great game. So obviously Ohio State won last year, so Texas is wanting to revenge that one. But in the SEC games, Texas has to go to Tennessee, and then Oklahoma, and then they play at home against Ole Miss. Then they have at LSU and at Texas A&M. So really, they've got some tough games on the road with being at Tennessee, LSU, and Texas A&M. Now, I do think that they're going to win 2 out of 3 of those games. Okay, and so I think there's a good possibility of them being 8-1 in the conference. So, and that's why I put them number 2. Number 3, I put Texas A&M, and I know that's probably a surprise to some people, but I'm kind of high on Texas A&M. And their schedule, they're at LSU, and then they play at Alabama, then got Tennessee, and then Oklahoma, and then Texas. So they do have a very tough schedule. I put them 3, but I do think they're going to take care of LSU. I've got LSU a little bit lower on my list than probably a lot of people because I think first year with Lane Kiffin it's going to be somewhat of a struggle. You know, all these, what I think somebody said they had 50 new players on that team. So I think it's going to be take a little bit of time to get that all together. So, but Texas A&M has a pretty tough schedule, but I do think that, they can end up finishing number 3. I think what it's going to come down to is the Alabama and Texas A&M game. Whoever wins that will probably finish 3, which I'm thinking Texas A&M could possibly win that game. That's why at number 4, I have Alabama. So in Alabama, they play Georgia. They play at Tennessee versus Texas A&M, and then at LSU. So I definitely think they're going to lose to Georgia, without a doubt. I believe they will. And I think there's a good possibility to at least lose to Texas A&M. And so I think Texas A&M and them may both have 2 losses. So that's why I think Texas A&M will get the tiebreaker and be the 3 seed there. So, okay, but number 5, I have Oklahoma. And they have a nice out-of-conference game there, playing at Michigan. They took care of business last year against Michigan, and so they get to go to Ann Arbor this year. And then they play to start when they play in the SEC. They have at Georgia versus Texas versus Ole Miss and versus A&M. And I think A&M will beat them. I think Texas will beat them. I think Georgia will beat them. So I definitely think they'll have 3 losses. there, and so that's why I picked them fifth. Ole Miss, I took as my sixth pick, and they have a good out-of-conference game to start the season against Louisville, so that should be a good one. But they play LSU, which I think Ole Miss will win that LSU game. I think that's the third week of the season. I just don't think LSU is going to be ready to go to Ole Miss. That's going to be a good one. But then they have to play at Texas, at Georgia, and at Oklahoma. And I think they could lose all three of those games. And that's why I think that Oklahoma would have the tiebreaker against them. So those are my top six right there. And so I do believe that those top six are the only six that have a chance to play in the SEC title game. I think the rest of these teams are either mid-pack teams or just bottom dwellers, honestly. And so I'm not gonna tell you basically their schedule and everything like that. These other ones I'm just gonna name off for you. But I've got Tennessee at number 7. I've got LSU at number 8, and like I said, I think LSU is going to be a mid-pack team this year. I love Lane Kiffin. I mean, he's a great coach, no doubt about it. But I think just this first year is going to be just a transition type year. But I think after this year, I think they're going to be one of the top teams in there. I mean, obviously they've got a ton of talent, and so I mean, who knows? They could surprise some people and stuff like that. But I think it is going to be a very tough year, especially going to Ole Miss, the third game of the season. And I just think that place is going to be nuts for that game. But at number 9, I've got Florida. And that's probably a little bit high on some people's. And maybe just that's because I'm a Florida fan. So, my first team is Kentucky. My second team is Florida. So I'll just be honest with you. I do love those two teams and everything, so maybe it's just biased, but I do believe that Florida's going to get this turned around, and they're going to be a mid-pack this year, but I do believe, in time that they're going to be able to turn this thing around. Number 10 is South Carolina, and I know there was some people that had South Carolina in their top 25. I'm just not a South Carolina buyer. I just think that they make a lot of mistakes in a lot of circumstances during games, and whether that's coaching or players, I tend to side with that. Sometimes coaching. I think that I'm not trying to be critical here, but I just think that their coach is not one of the top coaches in this conference and everything. I know, his dad was a great coach, and I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. That's just my opinion. At number 11, I've got Missouri, and honestly, I could be a little low on Missouri, but I think, I've got them at 11 right now. Auburn, I've got at number 12, and it's funny. Once again, I think that could possibly be a little low. They could surprise some people. New coach coming in with a lot of players from that team, come from South Florida coming in and everything that, they could make some moves early on and be a really good team and be moving up faster than we think. At number 13, I've got Kentucky. And once again, full disclosure, that's my favorite team. Florida's my second favorite team. That's the teams that I cheer for. But Kentucky, I've got high hopes in the future for them with Will Stein as their coach, coming from Oregon. And I think they've got some really, really good talent on that team this year. I think they're going to be able to run the ball well. I think their offensive line is going to be one of the better ones in the SEC. But this first year, they've got a brutal schedule. If you look at their schedule, their schedule is brutal. So it's going to be tough for them to do better than 5 and 7. I believe. I think 6 and 6 would be the highest that Kentucky could get, and I'm hoping for that 6-6 so they can go to a bowl game. So I've got Vandy at number 14, and I know that they were really, really good last year, and I know people have them higher. I just think they're going to step back and be Vandy of old, just like they used to be. I think they will. I think they'll take a step back this year. Mississippi State, I have at number 15, and Arkansas at number 16. All right, guys, well, that's my ranking the top 16 teams in the SEC in order. Hope you like that. Guys, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I ask that you do so. Like I said, later on, I'm going to do the Big Ten, probably here in a few days, and then I'll probably do a video comparing the SEC and the Big Ten and who I think will be the best conference this year. Obviously, the Big Ten won the last 3 championships, 3 different teams, so you really got to say that they were probably the best conference, top of the best conference, but overall, I think the SEC was still better as a conference from top to bottom. But guys, but I will do a little breakdown on that later on this week. But guys, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.